Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, Emmy Award-winning actor, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision. Especially when you're galloping side-saddle down a countryside road on a horse named Archibello, who seems to have only one speed: high. And pulling on his reins only seems to encourage him to go even faster. So, of course, my body hurts and my joints ache, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life. Oh, Archibello!
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
As soon as this scene wraps, I'm going to kiss the ground, thank Archibello for his outstanding performance, feed him a carrot, and visit brainhealth.gov.
Find out how you can make the most of your brain as you age at brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning to you one and all. Welcome to your Friday obsession. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, it is Friday, January number 12 in the year of our Lord 2018. Welcome to all you liberty lovers and ecclesiastics all across the globe. And all of you regular, irregular, and curious listeners out there. On Fridays, as most of you know, we try to take it a little bit lighter as we slide on into the weekend, to celebrate our ever-growing freedom under President Donald J. Trump. Yes, we thank him tremendously for returning power back to the states and to the people. And, of course, we do cover the heavy, weighty stuff, as well as the more lighthearted pop culture kind of stuff. We try to get it all in there. As well as you can also chime in by going to Skype. If you have a Skype account, you can call me on Skype to Skype, which is, what is it? It's either L. Rod or Rod Eccles over there on Skype. So we can do a Skype to Skype thing. It is working now and hooked up into the system. Earlier this week, we had some major troubles with Skype, and I had a conversation with Agent 0010. And he actually asked me if he wanted me to stop doing the Intel report, because a lot of these strange issues began shortly after he began appearing on the program on Wednesdays. And as I told him, it's not the first time that I've run into this, but yeah, it seems to be getting a little bit more severe of late. But I'm not running and hiding. I have no reason to. And if worse comes to worse, and I will just have to utilize other computers, and I'll have to learn how to go around certain things and bounce signals off of foreign servers or what have you. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but I can learn. It's a good thing about being a human being. At any age, you can learn new things. A lot of people look at Einstein. Einstein was evidently, as the story goes, he was terrible. He was a terrible school child, terrible in school, terrible in math, and look what he ended up doing later in life. So you can always learn new stuff. Come to a quote unquote God moment, if you will, at any particular point in time. Yesterday, we obviously had one of those God moments in Donald J. Trump. and him talking about all kinds of, well, he set a fire. Look, this guy does. You guys on the left, you have no idea what you're dealing with. This man will say things on purpose to tweak you. Why? Because it puts him in the news. It keeps him in the news. It keeps him above the fold on newspapers and on websites and blog sites everywhere. Has there really been a day in the past year where Donald J. Trump has not been the main headline in the news? I mean, think about this for a second, folks. I don't care if most of it's negative. We know that, we've seen survey after survey where 80, 90% of the coverage, 95% of the coverage of the president has been negative over the past year and a half. It's ridiculous. But can you honestly say, I cannot think of a particular day when I have been, and I pay attention at least 6 days a week. Sundays I do try to take off. But I can't think of on the Sunday shows, everybody's talking about Trump on the Sunday talk shows and the Sunday morning political shows, and everybody's talking about Trump all the time. Not even Barack Obama commanded this kind of exposure. Just think about it, folks. This guy says stuff and tweets stuff and does stuff just to tweak the left. He's doing it on purpose. He's not an idiot. He knows exactly what he's doing. And for the most part, most of what he says, now sometimes some of the stuff may be off the cuff and he didn't think before he said it. And that's a good thing. He doesn't filter it. Trump has no filter. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a filter. I like people with no filter because then you know what's really on their mind. Now, sometimes you have to ask for clarification. And you have to get it in order to fully understand. Now, just like this whole shithole thing. I mean, one of the things I find interesting is that Anderson Cooper 590 went on his TV program and said with a straight deadpan face, he said with a straight deadpan face that Donald Trump doesn't like black people from Africa coming to the USA. Now, the first thing that I thought of when I saw that, when I read that, when I watched Anderson Cooper on a stupid video say it directly into the TV, I thought, what a racist asshole. And think about it. Now, come on, folks. Let's be clear here. What is Africa? Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent. Africa is a highly diverse continent. Africa has more than just black Africans on it. Now, they might be the majority, but not by much. But you have the Arabic Moorish Africans, especially in the northern part of the continent. Egyptians, Libyans, Moroccans. I mean, there's a lot of them. And let's face it, Libya is a shithole right now. But are they black Africans? No. You've got white Africans living there. Born and bred on the continent. South Africa is where they congregate mostly. Yeah, but there are literally white Africans all over the continent. And some of them live in shithole countries. And of course, you've got a growing number of Asian Africans. Yeah, Asia, especially China has a growing presence in Africa, especially the northern half of Africa. And there are lots of Asians being born on the African continent, which makes them Asian Africans, right? So there's more and more of them. So why is it that Anderson Cooper would only assume that Donald Trump was talking about black people? I mean, if anything, considering what's been going on in places like Libya and other Arabic type of nations in Africa and the Middle East, he may have been talking about them. Oh, well, because he said Haiti is a shithole. Has anybody been to Haiti lately or seen pictures out of Haiti? Haiti is a shithole. It is. It's plain and simple. I mean, well, if you're gonna, I know some people are saying, "Oh my God, Rod, you cannot say that on the air." Well, I just did, and I ain't taking it back. Haiti is in the crapper, and it isn't because of lack of it's not because of lack of investment, because obviously, you can't count on the Clinton Foundation investment. They've stolen tons and tons of cash from Haiti. But frankly, folks, I mean, from what I understand about Haiti, now I'm not an expert on Haiti. But from what if Haiti wasn't a shithole, why do so many Haitians not want to be there? I mean, just think about it. Do most countries empty out, have a large percentage of their population that want to leave because the country is beautiful? Because the country is doing gangbuster great? I mean, do we have a plethora of Brits wanting to leave Great Britain for America? No. I mean, sure, we get immigrants from Great Britain, but do we have a large influx of British people? No. Because Britain, at least not yet, is not a shithole. Do we have a large influx of French people trying to get into the USA? No, because France, at least not yet, is not a shithole. Do we have a lot of Spaniards trying to get into the USA? No, you don't have a bunch of Spaniards trying to get the hell out of Spain, because Spain is not a shithole. How about any of the Nordic countries? Norway, Sweden. I know Sweden is in some trouble right now with their immigrants from the Middle East, but Norway, Sweden. We just had a visit from the Norwegian Prime Minister, right? Finland, the Dutch. Any of those places have a large influx into the United States, fleeing those countries? No, because they're not shitholes. Where do we have people trying to get here en masse? Well, they're coming from places, like Syria, shithole. They're coming from Somalia, shithole for years. They're coming from Haiti, shithole. The only reason why they're not coming from Venezuela, a shithole, is because they can't get here yet. Mexico. Oh, Rod, don't say it. Don't say it. Mexico. What do we get? We continue to get all these illegals from Mexico. The greatest number of people who are illegal immigrants in this country come from Mexico. Why? Because most of Mexico is a shithole. Well, it's because it's on the border. They're the easiest. Really? Do we have a large influx of Canadians leaving Canada? No. Why? Because Canada is not a shithole. I mean, think about it. So when somebody's on the television talking about how Donald Trump is a racist because he doesn't want he's sick and tired of blacks from Africa, let me ask you a question. Why would you assume that Donald Trump was talking about black Africans? Why wasn't he talking about Libyans? Just asking. Now, if you think about it, a lot of these places are shitholes because of their own corrupt governments. Haiti, their own corrupt government. We've sent billions of dollars down there, even though the Clintons stole some of it. We still billions of dollars got sent down there from all over the world, not just here from the USA. Why hasn't that money been used? You still have people living in tents. How long ago was that earthquake? It's been years. Some of the most corrupt countries on the planet, do you know who they're run by? They're run by black people. Go to Africa. Look at some of the black nations, black-led nations, black leadership. It's some of the most corrupt governments on the planet. Well, they're black and brown, led by black and brown-skinned people. Well, no, they don't consider Asians to be brown-skinned, but I guess they can be, but I guess they're yellow. But that's derogatory, so... A lot of them are not yellow; they're more brown. But look at the North Koreans. Is that a white lead? Is that a white, blonde, blue-eyed lead nation? No. It's just place after place after place that we get a large influx of people coming here. And, to a certain degree, ever since the United States was established, we have been an acceptor of, from certain places. At certain times, places were shitholes. Well, let's be honest about it. We got a great Irish influx during the Irish famine. Why? Because at that particular point in time, Ireland was going through some crap. It was a shithole. It was. But it was nothing like Haiti. It was nothing like Somalia. It was nothing like Libya or Syria. Nothing like those places. Now let's be honest. The so-called Irish invasion here in the USA had nothing really to do with government, but had everything to do with natural disaster. Well, you could say, well, Haiti had to do with natural disaster. No. At that particular point in time that earthquake hit, yeah, it was natural disaster. Ever since then, it was man-made. It was corruption. It was the people themselves. Now, I'm sorry, but we cannot take it. And frankly, you've got some liberals who are just being total idiots now. Denver just just decriminalized pissing and shitting on the sidewalk in Denver. Now, do these wonderful liberal white people in Denver, Colorado understand that historically speaking, that poor sanitation has been a prolific cause of spreading many kinds of diseases, including the Black Death, yes, called the plague. Well, none of us alive ever remember the plague, but half the European population was killed off. Started by rats, but spread by poor sanitation. So now we're gonna go back to pissing and shitting in the streets like they did back in old Europe. Yeah, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Well, I guess somebody could say, I guess Denver really is trying to be a shithole. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
around the town when folks are snacking.
Bell's the brand, you'll find them packing.
The great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching.
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
The great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack.
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'Cause great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. Bell, swell.
One of the things that we have to understand is, we're looking for a merit-based immigration system. Now, folks, when it comes to immigration, let's face it, we haven't had the current immigration system hasn't been in effect for very long. From 1920, mid-1920s, 24, 25, to around 1965, we really didn't have any legal, generalized immigration in this country. Sure, there were people that immigrated here, and you really had to prove that you were a political victim, you're looking for political asylum, or you had to have something that was really, really needed in this country for, smarts, for instance. If you were a foreign scientist, oh yeah, you got a first-class ticket to the USA. Let me tell you, during that time frame, especially during World War II and just after World War II, going into the mid-60s when we were trying to get to the moon, we fostered a worldwide brain drain, if you will, and brought them here to the USA. There was no zilch general immigration. There was no, my country's a shithole, please let me in. Do you have something positive to contribute to the United States? Well, no, I'm just a lowly baker. Sorry, we got plenty of bakers here. There was no general immigration for what? What is it? 40 years. 40. So this whole policy is relatively new of just letting anybody and everybody into the country. We started out by, taking in people that had something to contribute and did. And frankly, when you look at the wonderful Industrial Revolution, we had to ask those. Well, we didn't ask. We had to let a lot of those immigrants in because they were what? They were just plain. They were factory workers, and we were building an industrial nation at that particular point in time. We needed workers. So yes, the average everyday person coming from Europe could be trained as a factory worker and contribute greatly to the US of A. There was nobody coming here to look for a handout. They all came here, they struggled, they fought for whatever they got, they worked their asses off to make a better life for themselves, their communities, and the country as a whole. And we allowed so many of them in that we had to cut them off so we could Americanize them, assimilate them, to bring them into our culture, to teach them English, to teach their kids English, to make sure they became American citizens, became American. So we cut off general immigration because we no longer needed the uneducated, unskilled worker. We had plenty of them. we didn't want to become a third world nation before we even got started. I mean, think about all the wonderful in the major cities like New York, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia. They had all these wonderful, wonderful, wonderful inner city slums. And they were filled with newly arriving immigrants. Well, we wanted to change that. We didn't want to keep that around. We didn't want to be a shithole. So we had to be able to assimilate these people, educate these people, improve their lot in life. And indeed, there were some very good public building codes and rules that were instituted over that 40-year period, that not all by liberals, but some of them were very good. Some of those rules and regulations were very honest, but we didn't want to be a shithole. So we put a halt to immigration. And now you want to bring in people that didn't even have the same skills as they had back then. Really?
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show. About you, but there are people out there. Well, the president is basically saying that he did not say shithole. And if you actually read all the reports from a lot of the liberal lamestream media, you see that it's eerily the same. And it's kind of convenient that this is happening at a time just when and they're using Norway as an example. Well, the president has said that he'd rather have more people from Norway. Well, not going to lie, but if it comes to Haitian refugees or immigrants versus Norwegian refugees or immigrants, I'll take Norway at this particular point in time. Honestly, they have more to contribute. Has nothing to do with the color of their skin, but has everything to do with the content of their character and their brain capacity. Now, I'm not saying that Haitians are stupid and don't have the capacity to learn because they're human just like everybody else. So of course they do. But the problem is that their country is a shithole. There is no educational system. They really do not have a whole hell of a lot to contribute to. And I know some people are saying, what are you talking about, Rod? They have a rich culture. And actually, not really, no. And yeah, I actually know a few Haitians. I mean, there's a little Haitian community in Boston, and I used to do business down there. In Little Haiti in Boston. It was not a nice place. I'm just saying. They tend to, there are some cultures that tend to import their crapola from the country that they left, and they tend to bring it with them. The old saying, you could take you can take the Negro out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the Negro. But you don't use the word Negro. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is true of just about any culture. And if they have a very poor attitude or poor culture, they're going to import it here. And frankly, as far as it pertains to the Boston area, and me actually being in that neighborhood on a weekly basis, they've imported it here. Now, you can, well, Rod, that's only your experience. Yes, I know it's anecdotal experience, but let me tell you something. When you're dealing with liberals and you say, well, you always have to say, well, do you know these kind of people, or have you ever experienced them? And because being a military brat and the type of businesses I've been involved in, a lot of times I can say yes. Which takes them aback, because most of them who are complaining that Donald Trump is being a racist and saying we should let these people in or those kind of people in, they've never experienced those cultures. They don't go down into Little Haiti. They don't go into Chinatown or Japantown or Koreatown. They don't go down. Well, I shouldn't probably say this, but they don't go to what is known around here as Spicksville. They don't go to those places. So they don't know. But they're accusing everybody else of not knowing when they don't know themselves. It's awful. Look, I'm not saying that Haitian people in general, they're nice. They just, don't get on their bad side. I'm just telling you right now, do not. But in general, they're nice people. But they don't know anything different from their shithole country. And they import it here. And you go into Little Haiti in the Boston area, and it's a mess. I mean, you go into certain major cities where there are certain types of, certain kinds, certain Latino ethnic backgrounds in certain cities that are more prolific. And you will find these cities to be a mess. These, Worcester was a shithole. They've been doing a lot of cleaning up in Worcester because it was that bad in Worcester. It was terrible. It was an armpit. Nashua, New Hampshire was becoming a shithole until Puerto Ricans started moving in and displacing some of the other Latinos. Yeah, I'm serious, folks. And now Nashua has a growing Puerto Rican population versus from other Latino nations. And Nashua was starting to clean up. It was getting pretty bad. So people do import their shitholeness with them. I mean, just saying, that's just a natural fact. And if you don't go into these neighborhoods or these communities, which most of these wonderful liberal elitists do not, then they're not going to see it. They're not going to know about it. You know who would know about something like this? Well, for better or for worse, would be Donald Trump, and because he's been involved in revitalizing neighborhoods and cities all across the globe now. Good or bad, you say what you want about it, but displacing really ultra poor people with high rise buildings that they could never afford in 50 of their lifetimes. I get all that argument. I understand it, but he at least understands what it is that he's going in to revitalize. And instead of people saying, hey, look, why don't we try to help all these poor neighborhoods raise their incomes and raise their standard of living so they possibly could afford to be in one of these new high-rise buildings instead of having to leave the neighborhood, why don't we try to help them become educated and get jobs that will help them afford. No. What they want to do is liberals want to try to halt any type of progress because they want to drag down everybody down into that shithole mentality. And when you don't agree to go into the shithole, they want to force you via law, via regulation. And then when you still resist, they want to call you racist. Well, you don't want to be in a shithole, you're a racist. And think about that for a second. You don't want to live in a shithole, so you're a racist. You don't want people bringing their shithole mentality from their home country into the United States, into your neighborhood, and you are a racist. That doesn't matter where it comes from. Could be a white shithole too. There are predominantly white nations on the planet that are shitholes too. So why is it automatic? Why would you automatically assume, Mr. Silver gray-haired fox there on 390, that if Donald Trump said that African countries are shitholes, that he was only talking about black nations, which are full of corruption, by the way. Again, some of the most corrupt countries on the planet are run by blacks. Somebody want to tell me that Haiti is not corrupt? Come on, I dare you. Tell me Haiti is not corrupt. The government of Haiti is not. Tell me. You got people still living in squalor after billions of dollars of aid and money have poured into that nation. And how can it not be a shithole if Haitians don't even want to be there? Haitians are doing the Cuban thing called the Haitian boat lift. Remember that? It's not just Cubans we have to look out for. It's also Haitians in these dilapidated boats trying to cross the water, trying to cross the Caribbean to get into the USA. And many of them are but you don't hear this in good old lamestream media. A lot of Haitians actually land in Mexico. Did you know that? Now, Mexico doesn't like this idea at all. I don't hear anybody calling Mexico racist for not wanting. They send them back. The Mexican government, if Haitians land in Mexico and they get caught in Mexico, the Mexican government deports them back to Haiti. Nobody calls Mexico racist for doing it. Just saying. And and look, if you're going to risk your life the way Cubans do, the way Haitians do to get out of your country, it must mean that you think your country's a shithole. Just putting that out there. And let's face it, the United States as a whole is not a shithole, but we have some cities that are shitholes. I just pointed out a couple, in Massachusetts. They're cleaning them up. Springfield, Holyoke, Chicopee area of Massachusetts still pretty much a shithole. Not gonna lie. The area, the city, the greater city of my birth is a shithole. Home of the Basketball Hall of Fame is a shithole. I'm sorry, Springfield, Mass. If you live in Springfield, I feel sorry for you. But you know what I say is true. If you live in Chicopee Falls, Holyoke, you know what I'm talking about. If you lived in Worcester, Massachusetts, you know that they've spent a lot of money and a lot of time over the past 10 years cleaning that city up because it was a shithole. Same thing with Lowell, Massachusetts. Lawrence, Massachusetts is still a shithole. Brockton, Massachusetts. Hell, Brockton is so bad, even people in Brockton don't want to be in Brockton. So we have cities and states, cities within our own nation that are shitholes. And they're usually populated by immigrants who come from shithole countries. Now, I'm not kidding. They import it with them, folks. They import. There are me and my travels and the type of business that I've done. I could tell you, they're Waterbury, Connecticut, still a shithole. The New Haven, home of Yale, has some major issues in New Haven, Connecticut. Is the whole city? Well, obviously the whole city isn't a shithole because you go over where Yale is or has its influence is pretty nice. You go outside of that, New Haven's pretty much shithole. Yeah, just saying. If you get outside of downtown Hartford, the financial and downtown district of Hartford, Connecticut, and I know this by heart because I used to go to an office and work in an office down in Hartford, Connecticut when I lived in Keene, New Hampshire. Hartford, outside of its financial district, its downtown district, its insurance district, is a shithole. And it's mostly populated by immigrants from Latino nations south of the border, not Puerto Ricans. Just saying. They import it, folks. You can call me a racist all you want. All I'm saying is I'm being a realist, and I understand, and I report what is real out there. And this is real. And this is exactly what Donald Trump is saying. Why don't we start importing more immigrants that have a lot more to be able to contribute to our society? Hey, look, this is nothing new in doing this sort of thing. I mean, there is a TV show that was, I think it was Brazilian, called The 3% that had that very notion. You wanted to immigrate to this wonderful new land that was out there off the coast of whatever this country was. It was, and no, you had to prove that you were worthy to be there. Ayn Rand's, where's John Galt type of thing. We're taking people from all over the planet, especially the United States, who wanted to be able to contribute without overdue government interference. You had to be able to contribute. There are still countries like that. If you want to become a citizen of certain countries in the world, I mean, yeah, it's not easy to become a Japanese. It's nearly impossible. Why? Well, what do you have to contribute to Japan? It's not like you can just decide you're going to live there for 10 years and become a Japanese citizen. It don't work like that. They look at you and say, well, what are you going to contribute? But they're not called racist. Just saying. I'm on Trump's side on this one. Even if he's denying that he actually said the words shithole, but even if he did say it, I'm 100% behind him on this one because he's absolutely correct.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
In the next hour, we got some Bitcoin news. Well, actually, some cryptocurrency news that I can't believe the number of. I ask a simple question, and all I do is get attacked. I was just asking a question about cryptocurrency, and the simple question was, well, I don't know, other than Bitcoin, I don't know of any other cryptocurrency that is being accepted for general commerce, at least here in this country. I have not seen it. So my question was, if no other currency, including Bitcoin, is not widely accepted to pay your bills with, then why does it have so much value? I was asking a real and general question, looking for some answers. Hey, look, well, no, Rod, you're wrong. Cryptocurrency, this type of cryptocurrency is in wide use here in this country or in this state. Or I didn't get that. All I keep getting is a bunch of people piling on me. Oh, you just worship at the altar of your government and blah. I asked a simple question. I don't love. Now I'm being accused of loving surveillance. This is just very typical of liberals and of anarchists who want so much for something to be what they feel and believe to be true that they ignore everything else. And if somebody comes about and asks them a real question that causes them to think, instead of actually thinking about it and looking for the answer, they just lash out at the person who actually wants to know and get the information to make a better decision. Because I just don't fall at the altar of what these people are saying. So now I am the one who's guilty of wanting big government, over-regulation, and over-surveillance. Really.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Let's rock this joint!
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back as we continue along on this Friday morning.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, indeed, it is Freedom Friday. We have already gotten to Friday. Here it is, January number 12 in the year of our Lord 2018. As we continue with hour number 2, direct from the bunkerized studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. So welcome aboard this wonderful airliner here. This jet plane called the Rod Eccles Show, to all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe as we celebrate our growing amount of freedom under the MAGA President, Donald J. Trump. One of the interesting things out there today is speaking of the lighter side, well, we have all of this this wonderful stuff going on with sex. You know, all the sexual allegations. I mean, even it's gotten so bad that even our wonderful man from Marvel Comics is being yes, he is being accused of sexual impropriety with, I guess, by some of his nurses. Well, the man is currently 95 years old. Now let's face it. Every nurse will tell you, whether it be male or female, they'll tell you that when you get to be a certain age, well, first of all, I don't even think Stan Lee can actually feel anything down there, let alone get it up. But, you know, he's 95. Come on, folks. I'm not buying this stuff against Stan Lee now. I'm sorry. I'm not. Well, Rod, it's because you don't want it to be. No, I don't particularly care one way or the other. I'm just not buying it. Now, has he probably, patted a nurse on the butt or made some, snide sexual comment? Probably yes. Because most of us at one point in time have done one, the other, or all of the above. Even as teenagers. Now you could say when you're younger that you could be more forceful or you could be more intent on it being something, going further than that. But when you get to be, 80, 90, 100 years old, it's very difficult for even Viagra to work for you. So, I mean, I'm just being serious here, honest here. I'm not buying the whole, oh yeah, Stan Lee is just a terrible sexual predator at the age of 90. No. Let's rein this in. I told you folks that this was going to get out of hand. They nuclearized the sexual allegations. So for whatever reason, if they don't particularly, now I don't know why they don't. Stan Lee seems to be a fairly decent liberal. I don't know why maybe that's why they're attacking him. I have no idea, because they want to get rid of the old-fashioned liberal. He's not really an old-fashioned liberal, but I happen to like Stan Lee, and not as a person, because I know nothing about him in his personal life. I think his wife recently passed away. But I don't know anything about Stan Lee's personal life. I just know him from comic books. That's it. He was a great comic book author. He put Marvel Comics on the map as far as comicdom is concerned. That's about it. I have no love or hatred towards the man. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him other than through his comic books. That's it. So if he really was a sexual predator, then he needs to suffer the consequences. But I'm just not buying this notion from a few nurses that are saying that he's such a. How many old men? And from what I understand from some male nurses that deal with geriatric nursing, women of that age too, which women can be more sexual for a longer period of time than men in a general sense. In other words, women in their 70s can be highly sexual where men may not be able to even get it up to fulfill them, satisfy the female needs. So I understand from some male nurses that women can be just as bad, if not worse, in these nursing homes than men. Just saying. And this whole notion, if you have a vibrant young old man, somebody who's young, virilely speaking, moving into a nursing home, women will flock to that one guy and turn him into a stud faster. This is what I'm hearing now. So, I mean, if anything, for guys, here's a goal for you to keep your virality alive into your 80s. Because if you move into a nursing home, you'll probably have the pick of the litter, and you won't be lonely a single night of the rest of your life. According to some people that I know that work in these places, women will pick you out. They can smell your testosterone, I guess. If you still have it, they can smell it, and you will definitely be able to have your pick of it. Now, I am told you would be surprised by the sex that goes on in nursing homes. Not from the staff, from the residents. And I never really thought about it until they started telling me about stuff. And you go to visit, some of your coworkers, or you have some business to do with somebody that's, the administrator, and you kind of look around and you see there's a lot of flirting going on. There really is. And they tell me behind the scenes, man, that they catch them everywhere. Not in the privacy of their own apartments or rooms. No. Can you imagine catching a couple of octogenarians, a couple of 80-year-olds going at it in the laundry room? I know one male nurse who works in a very prominent Massachusetts nursing home, if you will. Senior assisted living center is what they call them. It's a very nice place. It's not completely upscale, but it is upscale. It's not a cheap place. And it has a lot, and people don't live in rooms. They have apartments. You can get a two to 4 room apartment. In other words, a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't know why you have a 2-bedroom. I guess in case you want to sleep in separate bedrooms. You can have a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment, and then they call them 2 or 4 room apartments. They're not rooms. And so you have plenty of places to go in private to do your business. And there is one laundry room on one of the floors in particular where he says they constantly, at least once a week, they catch a couple in the act. They don't know why that laundry room, but they go to that laundry room for a quickie. And they've never caught a staff member. It's always been the residents. Now I'm guessing maybe they're cheating on their geriatric spouses, and that's why they can't go back to their own apartments. But to hear that, and then to hear about Stan Lee, I'm not shocked, but I'm not buying that it's such a terrible thing. I'm not. He's not a sexual predator. Not at 95. Sorry, just not going to happen. But anyway, I bring it up because the New York Post, because we have all of this sexual impropriety going on and accusations flying all over the place, we have something. Now, of course, you kind of figured that this would happen sooner or later. Now, I think this is nothing new, by the way, but now it's garnering a lot of it. The attention that it's getting is rather new. And the New York Post asked the question, and they got an answer. Is there an app for that? Yes, there is. There are contracts for consensual one-night stands. There's an app for that. So if you, so now you got 2 things to worry about. You got to worry about, in the heat of the moment, you've got to worry about covering it up, wrapping it in a condom, and not just for anti-pregnancy sake, but for anti-STD and sexually transmitted diseases or whatever they call it now. You want to wrap it and sometimes double wrap it in order to protect yourself and your partner. So not only do you have to think about that, but now you got to think about, well, geez, if we have sex, am I going to be accused of rape or sexual improprieties? Tomorrow or sometime down the line. So now there is an app that you both have to sign if you're going to do a one-night stand. One-night stands may soon become commitments thanks to an app that creates contracts for consensual sex. A new app from a Dutch blockchain company claims to be the first app that gives users a legally binding agreement before getting it on. Now, there have been other kinds, maybe they haven't been apps, but there are other contracts out there that you can pull up off the web that stipulate this is a one-night stand type of contract. It's not an app, I'll give them that. Maybe this is the first app. But I'm surprised there hasn't been an app before this. Now, the app also allows users to match sexual preferences before a fling to ensure the do's and don'ts are clear, to set the rules before the play. Kind of like, the wonderful, what do they call those things? The fetish people, where you have a safety word. Yeah, you've seen those. So we have an app now that people are going to need before they go to a pickup joint, a bar, a dive bar, or pick up somebody, male or female. Hey, pull out that phone and pull out that app, man, because you gotta write that this is both are consenting, and neither one of us are later going to say that it was an non-consensual sexual assault. That's folks, I can't make this up. I really just can't make this. You can't make this stuff up. Just remember now, before you go, now you got another reason to bring your phone around. You can't leave your cell phone behind, your smartphone behind now. If you want to, go incognito or you want to leave electronic devices behind and just go out and have a good time, and you want to, maybe have well, you can't do it now. You got to bring your smartphone because you're going to need to be able to pull up that app in a contract really quick. It just, I'm sorry, you can't make this stuff up. It is funny, but unfortunately, it's the truth.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
No digas nada. Solo ven y abrázate. Un poquito el corazón.
I don't know how to do that. In any case, I'm sure somebody's going to say, that's just racist, Rod. Do you think you are Mexican? Yeah. I like all kinds of, cultures. And I'm lucky to have been born in this country where I can experience, without actually leaving the country, I can experience all kinds of real, authentic cultures, as well as celebrate my own, which is the American culture. But if I want to get a little ethnic taste of something, I can go to various places. I live in an area where it's pretty damn close. I can experience just about anything on the planet. I can go to Boston. There's Chinatown and Little Haiti and places like that. I can get some real authentic Latino food. It could be Brazilian food. It could be Mexican. It could be and there is a difference, by the way. I know people, well, it's all Mexican. No, it's not all Mexican. I love it when a liberal tries to argue with me on that. It's not. I know there is a difference. There is different ethnic cuisines as you get into Central and South America. Just saying. And I do know one thing, though. No matter where I go to get this, I mean, from tacos to burritos to, fried bananas, it doesn't matter, where the ethnic cuisine originates from that I get when I go out to get it here. Even if it's European or Asian, it could be Italian or French, although I don't go out to eat French cooking, but it could be Italian, it could be Greek. Greek food is Mediterranean, or Asian foods, and again, Latino foods are just as diversified as Asian foods are. Nobody would ever think that Chinese food is the same as Thai or Japanese. It's really not. No, it's not. They're quite different. But in any case, doesn't matter what your taste, you can go out and get the authentic stuff here in this country. And you probably don't have to travel too far to get it. You can get just about any kind of food that you want. And if you live within, a certain distance of a major metropolitan area, you can get it most likely. So you don't have to travel to the actual country or region in order to get the authentic thing. You can also get the Americanized version of it, if that's what you want. But in any case, I don't know, at least I won't be paying for it in some sort of crypto or alternate currency. Now, I've often asked the question about cryptocurrencies, where are they accepted? I haven't. Now, I know that there are there are places online that accept it, and I know there are a few stores. I don't know how, without having, quote unquote accounts, how people actually buy stuff in real terms, in real life, in brick and mortar stores with their Bitcoin. And understand that Bitcoin is different from actual money. In other words, I mean, it's fractional. Well, I guess it's the same thing. The dollar is fractional, and we break it down into 100 cents. So I guess they're kind of doing the same thing with Bitcoin, but the value of Bitcoin is way up there. So you're dealing with, what is it now? $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 per coin for a full coin. So you're only dealing in fractions of coins here. And trust me when I say that the IRS and many other governmental taxing agencies across the globe are taking a look at this stuff now. Why? Well, because Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have increased in value like you would not believe. So what is, especially in this country, what is it that is tied to that type of a gain? It's called capital gains tax. And it can be pretty hefty. Do you think the IRS isn't going to want the United States federal government cut? How about most states with an income or capital gains tax? Oh yeah, they're going to want their cut too. And so when I ask about this kind of stuff, all I get is a bunch of people piling on me for being a hater of cryptocurrency. I'm just trying to understand it because I don't understand it. I don't understand how how it gets the value that some of these cryptocurrencies are getting when nobody can use them for real life bill, goods and purchasing and bill paying. I don't get it. What am I missing? And when I ask the question, all the people want to do is just pile on me as being some anti-crypto or, pro-government guy. Those of you who listen to this program, on a regular basis, no, I'm not a pro-big government person. So why is it that they can't actually answer my questions? Why is it that am I just supposed to jump? Hey, Rod, just go ahead and invest in Bitcoin because we said so. Really? That's what a lot of I used to get calls all the time, until I got on the do not call list. I used to get calls all the time from these stockbrokers trying to sell me penny stocks. And now if I would have taken that advice, I'd be broker than broke today. I'd be so much in the hole. To me, this is what Bitcoin is. It's nothing more than a penny stock. Cryptocurrency is nothing more than pennies. There's no real value there. And until somebody can show me or prove to me otherwise, when I ask the question, I don't see any value there. And now it's going to be a nightmare this year for many investors, especially those in Bitcoins, because the tax man is coming to call. Now think about it this way. If the IRS has already issued guidelines in 2014 basically stating that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are much like stocks. In other words, they're subject to capital gains. Think about it this way to put it in an average perspective, folks. I don't have enough time to tell you right now. I'll tell you when we come back from the bottom of the break. What is the difference between buying coffee with a dollar bill and a Bitcoin? You're going to be shocked.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
That song. I love that intro. These people are just idiots, folks. They just don't realize the danger that they're putting themselves in when it comes to this cryptocurrency stuff. They just don't get it. But here is the problem. Now, again, I know it's going to come across as me bashing cryptocurrency, and I can't really fully bash it without understanding it more. So no, this is not about bashing it. What I don't understand is how, if it's not widespread, if it doesn't create or produce or buy value, then how can it be so valuable? Now, here's the problem with it. Because governments, especially our own, do not consider it to be a currency. They consider it to be an investment like stocks in bonds. Therefore, in Forex, a lot of people that did Forex, the foreign exchange, money exchange, whatever that stuff is, that was big for a couple of years, for a minute. But here you have people doing, they also got a shock when it comes to investments, in that the profit for these gains from these types of investments were being charged on for a tax purpose as capital gains, not as income. So imagine, if you will, you're able to actually go to a store, like say a Starbucks, and buy coffee with Bitcoin. So you go and you take your Bitcoin card, and you swipe it like you do with your debit or your credit card, and you purchase your coffee. Now, something else has just been triggered there, potentially. And this is according to the IRS, as best as they can put forth in their guidelines as far as how to handle your taxes when it refers to cryptocurrency. When you buy that latte, you are now triggering potentially a capital gains tax. I'm not kidding you, folks. Because now you're starting to utilize the profit that you've made off of your Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people do not realize that this could be a major problem. And if you do not report it as such, well, we already know what the IRS is capable of doing to people who don't realize that they're not fulfilling their complete and full obligation to report and pay proper taxes, right? Even when they were really not trying to screw the government out of taxes, they really just didn't understand it. You're still held accountable as if you fully understand it and should fully understand it, even if the IRS doesn't fully understand it. So you go and you buy a coffee for $5 and you pay for it with Bitcoin. Well, the government's going to say, hey, at least part of that $5 is capital gains that you've made out of profit out of your Bitcoin. Prove to us that it's not. And thus, if you've gotten some capital gains, you got to pay tax on that. Now, try to figure out this is gonna cause an accounting nightmare for people for tax accountants. Until this gets simplified or figured out properly, you're going to start. Maybe you won't hear about it, but you're going to start. If you're paying attention, you will probably start seeing people getting brought up on tax evasion and tax avoidance charges as it pertains to cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, because nobody's going to fully understand this thing because of how the IRS and Congress is going to have to step in and change the definition of cryptocurrency. And if Congress steps in to change the definition, it means that they're going to have to regulate it. There's just no other way around it. They're going to have to put some kind of regulation in place in order to govern whatever they decide to call it. Is it a capital gains investment, or is it a foreign currency? So this is my question these are the questions that I've put out there that I can't seem to get answers from people who say that they're big Bitcoin or cryptocurrency fans and they invest. If you don't know this stuff, why the hell are you investing in it? And why am I the bad guy for asking the question? I don't know. I'm just really glad I didn't fall for all this stuff a few years ago when I was sitting next to that guy in my favorite cigar room down in Manchester called Castro's, having some scotch. And he was trying to talk me into getting into Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Nobody accepts it. What am I going to do with it? Oh man, you can make all this money. How am I going to make money off of it if you can't use it? I didn't understand the whole concept. And this was before 2014. And then 2014 came along. And the IRS said, well, we're going to view it as being an investment. Capital gains are going to be charged. And now we learned that, well, hey, you go to Starbucks and buy a latte with your Bitcoin and you trigger a capital gains penalty or tax possibly. Try to figure that one out by April 15th of every year. Until they change. And if they change it, well, what does that mean? That changes the whole scope of things. Because then regulation comes in. And then you start having to deal with, well, what about countries that have banned it already or are planning on banning it by the end of this year? Well, it's too widespread. Everybody's using it. So, in other words, like Russia, where I believe it has been totally and completely banned, now you're dealing in the black market. And so you're doing things illegally, much like controlled drugs. And you don't think that if that particular government construes cryptocurrency like illegal drugs because they feel it's a direct threat to their government, do you think they're not going to be tracking you? I'm just asking. The very notion that you think that you can hide in the so-called dark web. I love when people say that, well, I just go to the dark web, man. Well, not everybody knows how to use it or get to it. I still don't know. Well, all you got to do is download stuff. I had even one person tell me, well, all you got to do is just you go to Google and do a Google search. I mean, well, wait a minute. If I want to utilize the dark web so I can go incognito, so nobody will be able to, it'd be very difficult for people to trace me. Why the hell would I advertise that I want to do that by doing a Google search, a search engine that does nothing but track people. Really, was this person really telling me to do that? Yeah, this person really was telling me to do that. And I'm supposed to take financial advice from people like this. Hello? But evidently, this person, she believes that, and she was even bright. Now, I don't know how to take her so seriously, but evidently she claims that she is a Russian living in Russia, and she uses Bitcoin all the time, even though that it is banned in Russia. And she's saying this, admitting this, on an open forum, on a social media. On social media. I don't know how you can take people like that seriously. I don't know. You can't. Hey, you want to know how to utilize the dark web and get the browser that gets you on the dark web? Then just go to Google and do a search. And by the way, hey, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is illegal in Russia, but I still use it around here. And, I do business in Russia with it. You can still do it. Okay, so you're telling people to go someplace that tracks you to get on into an area of the internet that nobody can track you. And you're also telling me that this type of currency is illegal in your country, but you just admitted that you utilize this currency within your country's borders where it is illegal, and you just did it on a public forum, and you don't believe that your government is not watching you. And that because I say that my government watches us, I am somehow now a big government, big brother type of advocate. So I guess I should just go ahead and use Bitcoin, ignore all the signs, ignore everybody who wants to regulate it heavily or who want to ban it all across the country, because there are too many people across the world who now want to use it and who are utilizing it to buy nothing, basically, I guess, but just trade it back and forth. So I'm out of sync. I just got to join with the rest of the people and lose my shirt. Yeah, I get the fact. Though it's like a Ponzi scheme. Remember, folks, those who come in early usually get paid, usually make a profit. It becomes harder and harder the later and later you get into that scheme. Whether you know it's a scheme or not, it gets more and more difficult. The people who got in first, this is why you always hear on these wonderful, they're not Ponzi scheme, but these multi-level marketing companies. Oh, this new one, man, you get on the ground floor, you make a mint. Well, this is true. If you're one of the first people in, you're on the first couple of levels, you will make a mint because you get into you come in later and you're on the bottom. It gets harder and harder for you to make any money, but the people who were in on the first couple of levels, they're making all the cash. So even if everything collapses, they've already made their money, and you're the ones that came in late. You're the ones that are going to lose your shirts. Same with Bitcoin. Now this thing is up to $10,000, $12,000 per coin value. The opportunity for people who get in now to lose their shirt is greater than it was before the coin hit even $1,000 in value. So I'm not buying it. I don't see long-term strategy or long-term growth. This is not a blue chip stock. I view cryptocurrency, it's in its infancy, and much like the internet itself, by the time this all shakes out and people figure out exactly what it is and how to use it and where to use it and how to tax it and where to tax it and all that kind of stuff, just like the internet, it is not going to be what it is tomorrow, what it is today. Because the internet yesterday is nothing like it is today. Just saying. So if you want, and it makes it worse when I can't even get people who are in it, who claim to be in it and investing in it, when I can't even get them to answer simple questions about it. That has got to be the biggest red flag that you could ever possibly have when it comes to this kind of thing. When it comes to anything. If you ask people who are supposed to know about it because they're in it, and they can't, not only can they not answer your questions, but because you simply ask the questions, they want to accuse you of being some sort of deviant within that realm. As if you're not supposed to think about those kind of things. I'm sorry, I don't follow anybody blindly but Jesus Christ. Because he's the only one that's never led me astray. Everything else out there on this planet has been proven to have led people astray at one time or another. And those people who blindly followed got burned big time. I do not blindly follow anybody for anything, for any reason, at any time. And neither should you. And if you do, you're exactly the kind of person that I'm going to try to avoid.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
Do you know that there are people out there who believe that the so-called dossier that was paid for by Clinton is actually 70% accurate? Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. No, folks, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. This is so delicious. Okay, so let's just say your BS that you just spewed, and we know that the dossier, it's 90% fiction, but let's just say it actually is 70% accurate, which means it's 30% inaccurate. Are you really going to base your legal system, your legal precedents, and other governmental issues when you know 30% of it is wrong, fake, lies? That's like well, hey, we've got all this evidence that you committed the robbery, but 30% of the evidence that we have is wrong. That possibly proves that you didn't commit the robbery. Well, isn't that called reasonable doubt? Yeah, well, it is. You do not do what our government did to Donald Trump or to anybody else based on 70% accuracy. You can do that with war. Sure, because that may be all you have. But when it comes to legal stuff like this, and it comes to American, and you tapping into American citizens' private lives, how do you even know which part is 70% accurate and which is 30% inaccurate? So I'm also trying to figure that one out with this person. But yeah, the dossier said, well, we already know that the dossier is more than 30% inaccurate, and we seem to learn daily about how this thing came to be, and we even learned that they targeted people like John McCain to shop this thing around. So John McCain, and now I'm supposed to just bow down to John McCain because he's a former POW war hero. He's a war hero because he was in the POW camp. Well, there are a lot of people that were with McCain in POW camps that don't consider him a hero. I'm just saying. But in any case, so I'm not supposed to attack John McCain at all because he's a war hero. Really? Well, first of all, I wasn't attacking John McCain. I simply said that evidently John McCain got used by these people who shopped this dossier around. Now, John McCain is hiding his face. He doesn't want to answer questions about this because now he realizes that he may have been duped. And he's embarrassed by it. It has nothing to do with him being or not being a war hero. It has everything to do with him being an anti-Trumper, for one, and two, being a sitting U.S. senator who was so easily duped. And people want to know how he got duped. Plain and simple. And now he doesn't. He's too. I would be embarrassed by it too if I got duped and I I sent somebody to go pick this thing up, this dossier up, and to supposedly vet it and then pass it around to certain people, like in the FBI and the NSA. And this is what they use as a basis, to do what they did as far as wiretapping and all that kind of stuff. I'd be a little embarrassed too that I got duped so easily. And why is it that John McCain got duped? Because John McCain has always been a never Trumper. And when you have people that are filled with hate out of personal reasons, not logical or actual factual reasons, just out of personal feeling, you're going to be easily manipulated and easily duped. And this is exactly what happened to John McCain, regardless of whether or not he was an actual hero of the Vietnam War or not. That's irrelevant at this point. It is completely and utterly irrelevant. As if war heroes can never be duped by fakery. Yes, they can be duped especially if they let their emotions get involved. They can be easily duped just like any other. Why? Because they're human beings. So it has nothing to do with his questionable war record. And by the way, if why the hell should I have to lay down and bow down to John McCain when you liberal leftists, you can't acknowledge people that were on the ground in places like Vietnam and Grenada and Iraq and Afghanistan today? Now those are heroes. You want to diss real heroes today, but I'm supposed to bow down to who a lot of people consider to be a fake hero in John McCain. Yeah, how hypocritical can you be?
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad,
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. and there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Rod Eccles.
For another Friday edition.
Welcome to Freedom Friday.
Yes, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show, the fastest 3 hours of Internet Talk Radio, even on a Friday, which means it's the fastest 5-day week on Internet Talk Radio, powered right here by Zinc Media Arts, broadcast via Spreaker. Yes, that may change, or that will, well, it won't be just via Spreaker in the coming months, so that will change as well. But for now, it is powered or broadcast by Spreaker. And I am glad that you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites are all out there in the listening land of freedom and liberty. As we continue on, got a lot more stuff to try to cover here. I know I took the first couple of hours here. It was really concentrated on just a couple of topics, but they were important topics that needed to be covered. Including this, I guess I am an anti-cryptocurrency person. Because, one, I don't fully understand it. And I don't fully understand it because there's nobody out there in the layman's world that can explain it to me. Because whenever I ask a question, these people seem to take it personally. And they can't, and they accuse me of saying and doing all kinds of things and being all kinds of things that I am not. I just genuinely want to know the answer. And I'm not the only one who asks these types of questions. I genuinely want to know the answers. I don't get an answer. Which tells me right off the bat two things. One, the people who are touting this stuff don't know what they're doing and don't know what they're touting. And two, they're trying to perpetrate a fraud. Plain and simple. If you can't answer the most simple questions about cryptocurrency, then don't respond. You have nothing to contribute. And I know why some of these people chimed in, because it was a while and my question went unanswered, which means nobody had an answer. Simple questions. Give me a simple question is, if nobody is generally, is there anybody out there who is genuinely able to use cryptocurrency as an everyday currency for their everyday needs and bills and paying taxes and so forth? If not, how is it so valuable? That was my first basic question. And I get these people that just attack me instead of answering the question. Well, if I can't use why would I go ahead and invest in something that is called a currency if I cannot use that currency to buy goods and services with it? Yeah, I mean, that's plain and simple. I think that's a legit question. Am I wrong? Should I not be asking that kind of question? I guess according to these people, no, I should not be asking that kind of question. I should just take them on faith and, hey, yeah, go ahead and invest so I can get my $8,000 out while you lose your shirt. And that's what I call, a scheme. Perpetrating a fraud. There's no value in it, and there's no value, but you're trying to talk up the value because you got taken. Well, you're not going to take me, so you can do whatever you want. I'm done discussing until people can actually answer real questions about cryptocurrency and how it affects us. I'm done talking about it. I'm done talking about it with everyday average people, because if you don't have an answer, then why am I even bothering with you? Why am I wasting my time with you? Why am I wasting my listeners' time with you when I'm trying to infer some and relate to them good, solid information like I like to do? And instead I have to respond to idiots like these people who aren't giving us, people who are asking legit questions. They're not giving us answers. So I'm done. You could get a big advocate here if you could just answer some basic questions. I can't be an advocate for cryptocurrency. Hey, blockchain, that's the way it is. Blockchain we've already seen can be corrupted. How about cloud? Oh, they don't know anything about cloud-based currency. Well, there's even I know a little bit about cloud-based currency. And these people who are investing in this stuff don't know about it? Not blockchain, cloud-based. There's a difference. Now, to me, they're both in the internet and online, so I don't know what the exact difference is. But look, there is a difference. I mean, I get the general idea between blockchain or individual multi-server based versus cloud or server based, single location or limited location. In the cloud base, there's no middleman. So people you don't get on a cloud-based currency, there is no mining. It's not like Bitcoin mining, because you set up a server that processes the transactions, whatever, and you skim a little bit of that off the top legally. With a cloud-based system, there is no such thing. It's automatic. So in other words, if I wanted to give you directly, $100, I would not have, in a cloud-based system, I would not have to go through, a bank. I would not have to go through like PayPal. I wouldn't have to go through a Bitcoin miner's computer system or mine or server, and so there would be no middleman that would get a piece of that. There'd be no service fee for that transfer. It would a cloud-based system, as far as I understand it, it would be like me handing you a $100 bill. If I want to give you $100, in a cloud-based currency system, it would be like me handing you a $100 bill. There would be nobody in between us, and it would be just like me handing you it in cash. That's a huge difference from the blockchain model. Just saying. See, I do know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous. So, and I know enough to know what kind of questions to ask, in which case a lot of these people don't know how to answer them or don't have answers to, so that makes me very dangerous to them. Sorry. I just want the truth. Any case, I got a lot more here to cover. Did you know? This is kind of, earlier I said that I don't follow anybody blindly, any man, only Jesus Christ. Well, did you know that there are people that follow somebody other than Jesus Christ blindly? L.A. Times reported earlier this week that there is a new generation of Satanists. Yes. There is a new generation of LA-based Satanists, and they find communities in blasphemous times. Back in November, so the LA Times piece starts out in the candlelit basement of a house just above a Silver Lake, the Silver Lake Reservoir. Alexandra, not Alexandria, Alexandra. I once knew a woman named Alexandra. And, oh, man, if you called her Alexandria, she jumped all over you. It's Alexandra, not Alexandria. Learn it. That's what she used to say. Learn it. Okay? You make that mistake once with her, let me tell you, that you don't make it again. Alexandra James walked over to an altar where her husband, Zachary James, waited near a bleached human skull. Teeth locked in eternal rictus. From the altar, she lifted a sword and drew points across her chest while a circle of onlookers watched solemnly. An organist played eerie minor key chords, and Alexandra turned to face the group. On this altar, we consecrate swords to direct the fire of our unholy will, she said. A human skull, symbol of death. The great mother Lilith created us all, and will destroy us all. So first of all, these are the type of people that admit it's unholy versus holy, in that the great creator Lilith is going to someday destroy. They're okay with being destroyed, I guess. I just don't get Satanists. Or anybody who thinks along this line. Now, I understand where Lilith comes from. And if you've ever watched the TV show Lucifer, and I watch it every now and then. I try to catch it here and there. They really honestly make Lucifer or Satan look cool. He's not really all that cool. But they try to get the aspect of Lucifer down, biblically based. But they're way off on so many things when it comes to him. And one of the things that they try to bring across is that what some of these Satanists and other types of religions call Lilith is the goddess, and that God and his wife, the goddess, together are the creators of earth and the heavens. Which is why we have male and female down here on this planet, is because even though they're not male and female, they were male-esque and female-esque in the celestial heavens before there was. They created the celestial heavens by intertwining their energies in celestial intercourse. And they birthed the universe because of it. And then for whatever reason, God got mad at his wife, the goddess, and cast her out of the heavens. And Lilith came down and did something on Earth and birthed the entire planet. So, I mean, I get it. But what I don't get is the part of why they believe that Lilith would end up destroying her own creation. Makes no sense to me. Well, that's what God does in the Revelation. No, God remakes everything. What they're saying about Lilith is she just destroys everything and there's nothing. I don't get that part. And there's no reward, there's no meaning behind anything as it regards to her. Except, hey, just go ahead and be happy and do whatever you want that makes you happy in this life because, there's nothing left. I'm just going to destroy. I'm going to eat your soul, when you die. Basically, that's what they say about Lilith. Now, I don't know who'd want to worship that. But evidently, there's a growing number of Satanists out there. Well, that explains California for you. Just saying, it's out there. I'm not making this stuff up. Go check the LA Times, folks. Check it. RodEccles.net later. I'll put the link in everything. You can go read this stuff for yourself. I never bring you anything that I can't back up. So I know I'm going to... There probably be I'm surprised I don't have a bunch of Wiccans out there that are trying to cast spells against me, like they do with Donald Trump, trying to bind Donald Trump. Their spells aren't working if they're trying to bind Donald Trump, by the way. Just saying. If they're trying to keep him from being successful, their spells are not working. In any case. Also, speaking of worshiping the devil, gluten-free foods are not healthier alternatives, say experts. There's two studies, one in 1999 at the University of Toronto and one recently in 2017 by the BMJ, are saying and stating that gluten-free is actually not healthier and can be even more dangerous for your lifestyle than a regular diet. Look, again, something else I'm not making up. There's no reason to believe that eating gluten-free foods is better for you unless you have a celiac, have a form of celiac disease, an expert has claimed. According to Celiac UK, around 1 in 100 people in the UK suffer from this sort of disorder. However, gluten-free food has become a worldwide foodie trend, even among those who would do well to include gluten in their diets. Now, Susan, there is also some study about current diseases that run in the gluten family. Is stating, and there is some studies that show that if these people who are sensitive to gluten, if they were to eat original, heirloom ancient grains, they do not have the same issues as they do with modern grains. Simply because modern grains, for whatever reason, they've been developed, through over time, both in and out of the laboratory, GMOs, both GMO and non-GMO that have been developed and grown over the past couple of centuries, are nothing like the ancient grains, and they have too much gluten in them. And there are different kinds of gluten, I guess. And they have too much of the wrong kind of, look, there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, right? There's good fats and bad fats. Well, evidently there's good gluten and bad gluten. And ancient grains or the heirloom grains, as they're called, they don't have too much of the bad gluten. But today's wheat, I guess, is just full of the wrong kind of gluten that gives everybody all sorts of problems, because then when we go and process the wheat into flour, we pound the hell out of it and process the hell out of it, and what's left is nothing but a gluten mess, I guess. But gluten-free cuts out a lot of the important foods that your body needs for a number, and it's not just the vitamins and minerals that your body gets from food. It's all these things that we don't know anything about, like phytonutrients and other micronutrients that certain foods have that certain other foods don't, but your body still needs it. And if you're not getting it because you're voluntarily leading a gluten-free life, then you're going to find yourself into some serious health issues. But that's the way it works.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
In the program, I brought you some information about Stan Lee, the creator, the Marvel comic book creative genius. He brought us a number of superheroes, both supernatural and human superheroes, like Spider-Man and the X-Men and Shield. SHEIILD, Shield, the Shield Agency, which is a very secretive government agency, international government agency, I guess. Or is it just a U.S. government? Anyway, well, Shield has this thing, this flying contraption called a flying carrier or aircraft carrier. And now it looks like that some of comic bookdom may be coming to fruition. And it's interesting, the service branch of service that is doing this. Because what do we have in things like Star Trek? We have they base it on naval rankings. Do they? Yeah, it's like the Navy is in charge. But the weird thing is the Navy isn't doing anything with outer space. It's the Air Force. So how is it that the Air Force is going to do all of this testing and leading and developing, and it's going to end up in the hands of the Navy? I don't know. But that's how we get on our TV shows and our movies. It's always Navy based. When the Air Force is doing all of the testing. I mean, NASA, that's Air Force, not Navy. Just so people know and understand. It's Air Force based. But Stan Lee had this thing in with SHIELD, the agents of SHIELD, they had this thing called a flying aircraft carrier. Well, evidently the Air Force, not the Navy, the Navy currently has aircraft carriers, right? Yes. But the Air Force, not the Navy, could begin testing various versions of flying aircraft carriers as early as 2019. Yeah, that's right. This is from an article in NASDAQ.com. Now, yeah, the same NASDAQ, yes, the same, investment NASDAQ. That NASDAQ. NASDAQ.com has an article, has a piece. Air Force could test flying aircraft carriers as early as next year, 2019. Or at least they will be testing them. The movies were right. Gremlins are real, or at least they will be if DARPA, the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, the agency that's also in charge of HARP up there in Alaska, has anything to say about it. As we learned this week from our friends at the Navy Times, DARPA, which is Air Force, is moving ahead on its effort to create a fleet of flying aircraft carriers, which it calls the Gremlins program. So the Navy is basically releasing information and reporting on what the Air Force is doing as far as flying aircraft carriers. Which such a thing would then, according to this article, which also help facilitate, manned military spacecraft. So the Air Force is progressively moving to outer space from our atmosphere. Will we still have Navy rankings? I don't know. Just asking a question. We'll be back.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with a debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower healthcare costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Man, this hour is just flying by. Time almost got away from me there. Went a little bit long in that last segment, unfortunately. I do apologize, but I usually try to keep my eye on the clock, but it was just time just flying by here. By the way, speaking of earlier with about Stan Lee and the earlier report that he's now being accused of sexual impropriety. And the problem that some nursing homes across the country, at least here in New England anyway, I'm sure it's probably the same thing across the country, has with overactive libidos of older people. There is a new, reported by CNN Health, there is a new study that links ibuprofen to male infertility. Yes, there is a study. Ibuprofen has a negative impact on the testicles of young men. A study published Monday, earlier this week, in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. What the hell is Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences? never. I mean, how many science magazines or publications that are considered to be prominent do we have out there? This is one I haven't heard of. But okay, let's just say that they're all that. When taking ibuprofen in doses commonly used by athletes, a small sample of young men developed a hormonal condition that typically begins, if at all, during middle age. This condition is linked to reduced fertility. So, in other words, teenage athletes have a fertility rate of middle-aged 40-something plus men. Huh. This is from Advil and Motrin are two brand names for ibuprofen, and over-the-counter pain reliever. CNN has contacted Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, the makers of both brands, for comments. No comments so far. The consumer, oh, by the way, I almost forgot. We'll have to get to this right after this. I get over this. The Consumer Health Products Association, a trade group that represents manufacturers of over-the-counter medications and supplements, supports and encourages continued research and promotes ongoing consumer education to help ensure safe use of. Now, do you think that if it were absolutely to be proven absolutely correctly true, that ibuprofen, the brand ibuprofen or the medication ibuprofen, does affect fertility? Do you think they'll pull it, or will it be one of those side effects in a long list of side effects that you see in these drug commercials? Can cause reduced fertility in males. I'm just wondering. I don't pretend to know. But if you ever watch some of those drug commercials, some of the list of side effects on some of these drugs are really long, and some of them are worse than the disease that is supposed to relieve. None of them cure you of any of these diseases, but it seems like they relieve you of some of the symptoms of some of the diseases, or it keeps the disease from progressing or getting worse. But the side effects tend to be worse than the disease itself. Just saying. The holidays for today, on this Friday, which is January number 12, the holidays for January 12 are thus. Today is good old curried chicken day. Yes. Today is also, I have no idea what this is, can't get more information on it really at this time. It is also Feast of Fabulous Wild Men Day. Well, this in light of all the sexual innuendo, sexual impropriety that has been going on, and in light of Stan Lee now being accused of being in the league of Harvey Weinstein, why not have a Feast of Fabulous Wild Men? So, well, today's the day to have it. It is also, I can get behind this one. This is a good holiday. International Kiss a Ginger Day. In other words, do you know a redhead? Any redheads out? Yeah, I can participate in this holiday. Well, I'd have to bring out the app though, the contractual app for spontaneous. Well, one time only kissing. It's also you can't make this stuff up. It's also national, not international, but National Marzipan Day. Yes, marzipan, the sweet moldable treat made from almond meal and sugar and honey. I don't think I've ever had marzipan, to tell you the truth. But how do you celebrate today? You celebrate today by and or making marzipan and indulging in eating marzipan. It sounds almond and honey sounds really good. So I don't know why I haven't tried it before. Speaking of ibuprofen causing potential infertility problems in young men and teenage boys, it is National Pharmacist Day. Yes. Today's the day that you should go into your local drugstore and tell your pharmacist, thank you for being a pharmacist. Happy Pharmacist Day, because it is National Pharmacist Day. Today is also Stick to Your New Year's Resolution Day, because usually studies have shown that many people will break their resolutions within the first 30 days of the new year. And many of them hang it up within the first 2 weeks, 14 days. So today is Stick to Your Resolution or Resolutions. I did a poll on Twitter, and a third of the people that said that they made resolutions before the even first week was up, a third of the people that said that they made resolutions had already broken them by the time the first week, 7 days was up. So, but there is studies that say don't make resolutions, set goals. Goals work better than resolutions, because resolutions, you can easily toss them aside, but a goal is something that you work harder for. Speaking of work harder, today is also observed annually on this day. Today is Work Harder Day. Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's an actual day that celebrates working harder. Yes. So those are your holidays for today, January number 12. I hope you are enjoying the various holidays that you're encountering today. I don't think I'm going to participate in that. Where can you go to kiss a ginger? I think I'll participate in that one. I'll celebrate that one. Just let me... That's sexual harassment of gingers, Rod. Well, I didn't invent the holiday. Just saying. I'm just trying to celebrate it. Don't blame me for celebrating a holiday now. I like holidays. But yeah, and why? I guess some people like me might have to work harder at finding a ginger to kiss. But although I am in a very, there's a lot of redheads in New England, because there's a lot of Irish and Scottish descent in no, there's not a lot of Nordic descent in, believe it or not New England. A lot of French. But the French don't tend to be redheads. Redheads tend to come out of Ireland and Scotland and the Nordic countries. And believe it or not, northern Italy has a lot of redheads, as well as certain parts of Germany. I don't know why. I mean, I understand the gene pool type of thing. But Eric the Red, Viking, Swedish, Nordic country. They had a lot of redheads, but we don't have a very heavy Nordic population here in New England. We have a very heavy Irish and Scottish population here in New England. Now, you go to other parts of the country, such as Michigan, Minnesota, the Dakotas, heavy Nordic descendants population in those places. I didn't notice a lot of redheads when I lived in Michigan, though. So I'm going to stick with the Irish and Scottish thing. And growing up and coming from Syracuse, New York, did know a lot of Italian redheads. Went to high school with a couple of them. They weren't Scottish or Irish. They were full blown. I mean, they had names like Lombardo and Vecchio. That's no Irish in there. Just saying. So I'm sure I'll be able to find redhead somewhere. But I'll have to work harder, because it is National Work Harder Day. So I'll have to work harder than most people, I guess, in order to find a redhead who's willing to be kissed today, to help me celebrate Kiss a Ginger Day. I hope that ginger is not a derogatory. I don't think it is, because gingers call themselves gingers. In any case, the economic engine of today is roaring back to life. It is starting to fire on all 8 cylinders, as we used to use a internal combustion engine acronym. U.S. small business confidence hit a record high in 2017 under Donald Trump, as well as that's from Business Insider, and The Hill had a poll that they reported on earlier this week, that showed that voter perception of the economy as an all-time high. Now, if you were just looking at the regular poll numbers of Donald Trump's approval and people liking Trump, you wouldn't get this. But 2/3 of voters polled, 66% said that in a Quinnipiac University poll released earlier this week, that they would characterize the economy as excellent or good. 33%, however, they view the economy as not so good or poor. Now, these are never-Trumpers and liberal elitists who believe that the economy is not doing so good. I don't know how you think the economy is not doing good when you got unemployment, even for blacks, African Americans, at record lows. How is that not an economy doing better? Can somebody answer? Honestly, nobody can answer that question. How is it that you can possibly view the economy as being in worse shape today, that it is doing poorly, when you have unemployment at all levels hitting record lows, which means people have jobs, which means that they're earning an income, which means that there are less people on government assistance. We have more than 2 million people who have taken themselves off of the food stamp rolls. And yet you've got 33% who say the economy is doing poorly. What? Well, let's not dwell on the negative. 66% of people say that the economy is doing well. But 49% of the people say that former President Obama is responsible for the current economy, while 40% attribute it to the current economic state to President Trump. Again, where do these people get the idea? Well, because they listen to and follow lamestream media. All the bad stuff that happened under Obama, well, that was George W. Bush's fault. For 8 years, that was George W. Bush's fault. Now, a little bit of good stuff that comes along, well, that's all Obama's fault too, the good stuff. That's Obama's fault. The bad stuff, Bush's fault. Good stuff, Obama's fault. And none of this has anything to do with Trump. We're supposed to buy into this. Well, almost half the country has bought into it. By the way, that's kind of it's almost the same number of people that voted for Hillary, not Trump. Is there any correlation there? But 49% say that Obama's responsible, but 40% say that Trump is responsible. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you add those two numbers up, that's 89%. Almost 90% of the Americans think that the current economy, according to it must be doing pretty well, but 1/3 say it's terrible. So if you've got 89% attributing the good stuff of this economy to the former president and the current president, that's 89%. It means there's only 11% that should say that it's bad, but 33% say it's bad. You can never fully understand these polls unless you understand fully how they're asking the questions and what they're trying to do. And what they're trying to do is trying to say that for those people who believe the economy is doing well, it is not due to Trump, it is due to Obama. And those people who believe the economy is not doing well, that's not Obama's fault, that's Trump's fault. Don't doubt me on this, folks. They're trying to... You want to see how well people believe in Trump? Understand that if 66% of the people think that the economy is doing well, then that 66% of those polled view Trump favorably because of it. At least he hasn't screwed it up, huh?
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've got another question here that I'm going to answer, or at least try to answer, because, well, I'm not sure if it's really a question, but what happens if how do you get into a town? Well, let's just say you like to use apps. You use apps, these map apps to get you around town. Do you think that your street should be limited to who can use it? These are public streets, but do you think that they should be limited? And if you are not that person, it's a public street, not a dead-end street, not in a gated community, not a private road, but a public street paid for by public dollars. Do you think that if you use that street, that you should be fined for using it? Well, evidently, CBS New York Channel 2 is reporting that a New Jersey town wants residential streets removed from navigational applications like Waze. A little New Jersey town, a quarter mile from the George Washington Bridge, is declaring 60 of its residential streets off limits to drivers who use them as cut-throughs. Now, residents are saying that they are sick of traffic tie-ups caused by commuters shortcutting. They should stay on the highway, said one resident. Why bother us locals? The ordinance establishes a $200 fine for shortcutters. I wonder if they can pay that off with Bitcoin. The ordinance establishes a $200 fine for shortcutters. But Leonia Mayor Judah Ziegler said it's really about the applications or the apps. This is Leonia, New Jersey, Leonia. The main reason and driver, no pun intended, behind this legislation is to get the navigational apps like Waze and Google Maps and others to remove our side streets from their algorithms and not offer them as recommendations as shortcuts. They will do that, he says, once this legislation takes effect. Now, the mayor said the legislation gives the navigational apps no choice but to warn drivers that cutting through could cut into their wallets. A spokesman for Waze did not immediately return reporter calls, but in the past it has not opposed such tactics to remove local roads. The first thing the officer is going to say when pulling somebody over who doesn't have a local City of Leonia sticker on their car, do you have business in Leonia? That's it. So cops are now going to be dispatched to ask if you have business in Leonia, instead of actually living there or just using it as a cut through. And I guess somehow you're going to have to prove that you do have business in Leonia. I don't know how you're going to do that if you don't have a sticker. But in any case, that's it for this week, folks. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Until then, I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.